Now, the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz returns to the Sandton International Convention Central. Over 2 fun-filled days next month, jazz music lovers will be treated to 4 main stages with exhilarating jazz stars lined up from across the world. Well, let's find out exactly how exciting it's going to be, who's headlining what. We're talking to the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival producer, Mantwa Chinoamadi. Mantwa, good afternoon. Welcome to today. Good to speak to you again.
Good afternoon.
About good things. You know, jazz is just a damn good thing.
Definitely. It's one genre of music that does a whole lot of things to people, socially, economically, and, you know, health-wise. And
what I like about jazz is that it's got its roots in Africa.
Yes.
No matter what they say, we germinated this. It germinated here. So let's talk about this year. I mean, last year you had it. It was the first year after the pandemic, so it was a slightly different. Is this year's one going to take us back to the glory days of the Joy of Jazz?
We are one step into it with the show's opening. Yes, we do have 3 international artists. One from Switzerland, which is Andres Vollenweider.
The harpist?
Yes, the harpist is coming back home. He had actually taken a sabbatical for some time and he couldn't perform. And, you know, we've been trying him since 2017. Beautiful. And he's been saying, I'm in studio, I'm writing books. But this year he approached us actually and said, I want to come back to South Africa. We have Robert Lasper from the USA.
Okay.
And Alexander Beats from the Netherlands.
Just with Andreas Vollenweider, will he have a local South African accompaniment?
He's got 3 musicians that will be performing with him. Ayanda, I think it's Dunokwe's niece.
Okay.
And, you know, the voices, the singers are based in South Africa. So that's what I love about him, his collaborations with South African music, not only here, even when he travels abroad, he always invites them to come in.
So I see Ayanda will be joined by the Vusintapo, another vocalist as well,
yes.
and Vuyo Chuma. That's beautiful.
Yes.
And that will be on the Naledi stage.
The Naledi stage for the Friday and the Saturday.
Yeah. Is that your biggest stage?
All our stages are big.
I knew you were going to say that.
You know, all our stages are big.
You've mentioned a couple of other names, but locally, I mean, I wonder, I love McCoy Mkhubata, for example, and his brass cup. I don't know if he'll be performing this time around.
Definitely, he's performing another edition of his brass cup. And you know, Bra McCoy, every year, new music, new compositions, new ensembles, and he's promising to really take us back into the jazz mood.
Yeah, one of my colleagues, Khumu, she works in our media sound room. She loves Zoe Madiga. Are we going to have the vocalist?
Phenomenal performer. That girl goes on stage knowing what is to be done. I've seen her the past few weeks in Switzerland, and I'm telling you, I was just excited to see how a young girl will not only depend on the voice, but the presentation, the stagecraft is out of this world.
Yeah, and other local big names that you might have. The pianist, will Nduduzo be performing?
Yes, Nduduzo is performing. He's got friends that he's bringing in to the festival. You know, Nduduzo has been traveling and he's met other amazing musicians that he will be performing with. And, you know, after his tour, we thought, this is a good time for you to come back to a festival that saw Nduduzo in 2019 having a collaboration with the likes of your Wynton Marsalis. I mean, called on stage.
I was there. It was
exactly.
Just brilliant. It was really beautiful. And he's got his trio still together.
Yes, he's got his trio that he will be performing with.
Yeah. That's also another artist that my colleague at eNCA Khumu loves very much. Now, the one thing I loved about what happened when I was last there in 2019 was there was also some artists who perform in honor of others who've passed on.
Yes.
I mean, recently we lost Gloria Bosman.
Yes.
Will there be a dedication, a tribute to Gloria Bosman, for example, and others?
Definitely. You know, every time when we create a festival, we look at, you know, giving an honor and paying tribute to the ones that we have lost. And, you know, during COVID, a whole lot of people were lost, but we say for this few that we'll be able to honor, you know, some of them have passed on in a long time ago. Brahebi Tswaedi will be paying a little tribute to Ntate Johnny Diani. Max Hoba paying tribute to the voice that we had here, Jabu Kanyile, and definitely Billy Munama to Alan Kwela. So you look at how Billy plays the guitar, it takes you back to Ntate Alan Kwela. And then we look at now Gloria Bosman. Titi Lozipo performed with Gloria in 2019, and that was the last performance with us at the Joy of Jazz, and definitely we are paying tribute to her.
What about music lovers who prefer the lighter, more adventurous kind of stuff, you know, not the, let's call it not the real core, essential, hardcore jazz stuff? Do you have something for them, this Joy Festival?
Definitely, we do have that. And I always say to people, you know, the Mbira stage for us is an audience development stage where I will come to see somebody, but then I'll end up sitting in a jazz stage that, you know, in years to come. We've seen that happening. And with the evolving of jazz music, it's always very nice to invite the ones with a lighter ear to come and listen to whatever music they prefer, and they go to the other stages. We have something called eNCA reframed. So what we did is we conceptualized a performance with eNCA that people will say is amapiano or afro-pop or whatever they call it. However, we are now having them on stage with a live band and a horn section.
Beautiful.
And when you look at the horn players as jazz artists, you know, Linda Skakane and Dabo Zulu, who are really, really beautiful horn players from KZN.
And it's a two-day event, and when would that kind of stuff be on stage? Both days?
On both days, on the same stage, we have things that, you know, music that you will look at and say, I want to see this. eNCA performs on Friday. I promise you, I'm the first one to sit there and see how jazz influences other genres of music.
Yeah, you know, I'm an avid listener to the Amapiano, but they call it private school Amapiano, yes. Kelvin Momo. And he's got a tune that he made in his Ivy League album, and I think it's dedicated or inspired by Jimmy Lulu.
Yes.
And he calls it Lulu. Yes. And you can pick up that guitar, that jazzy guitar, and also uses the horns quite a bit. So I'm not surprised you're going to have that happening at this year's festival. Now, the tickets, they're open now.
Tickets
because the 29th of September is not far away.
Exactly. Tickets have been opened, and since we announced on the 26th of July, we've been having a discounted ticket price. It closes on the 30th or 31st of August. So people should go there and get themselves very, very valuable discounted.
In 2 weeks' time. Eh?
In 2 weeks' time, yes. Your next payday should be.
Are they reasonable price? The reason I'm asking, we know the cost of living is high. We love jazz.
Definitely.
But, you know,
we have kept the same prices, Bradan, because we are all, you know, recovering from something, and from something very, very drastic, to say that impacted us economically. So definitely the tickets are still the same price as you had in 2019. And rush for your tickets at CompuTicket and buy.
Okay, another aspect that I really like about Joy of Jazz is the invitation you have for African artists from elsewhere.
Yes.
You know, the late Mama Cesaria Evora from Cape Verde once performed in this country, but it was at the Cape Town International Festival. Yes. But at the Joy of Jazz, we've had Salif Keita. I watched him live. I can't remember if it was 2018 or 2019. Do we have African artists, I mean, other than us in South Africa?
We thought the representation that is here in South Africa is enough to cover for the whole continent.
So for this time around, we're not going to have any headline from else.
No.
Yeah. The Brahima Sikela's band?
Yes, the Brahima Sikela. We had them at the media launch. We all cried how you see these people preserving Brayu's music and playing it. It felt like he's in the room with us. And, you know, that's one band that has kept it truth and real. When they go on stage, you'll think that Brahu is sitting somewhere and looking at them and say, you're doing it right.
Yeah, and I guess people need to know that some of the performers are Grammy Award winners.
Exactly.
or finalists, and people who are really celebrated and prestigious. The theme for this year, I see you say, feel the jazz everywhere.
Yes. What we did is we want you to know that even if it's I'm a piano artist or an Afro jazz artist or, you know, a pop artist, there is a very huge impact of jazz in everybody's performance. Look at the jazz, the stage at the marketplace where we have DJs that are playing acid jazz. I mean, DJ Kenzero has been pioneering in really bringing the young people into the jazz place through his performances. So we want people to come and feel this.
Will there be some DJs this year?
Yes, there will be DJs at the marketplace. We are having SMMEs selling their crafts. We just wanted this whole ecosystem to be completed, that nobody is left outside, that inclusion that we always talk about as festivals, we want it to happen at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz.
Come the 29th, the 30th, that's when it ends, you look back, what would success look like for you this year? Because, I mean, last year you were transitioning from the post-pandemic period. It was a bit different, and now you're trying to take it back to its glory days. What would success look like for you after the 30th of September, when you look back and you said, you know, we delivered this Joy of Jazz, we felt the jazz everywhere? What does that look like? Without
just presenting an event that is memorable, we want people to take home the education that will come out of this festival, the impact, whether it's economical or it's social. Success for us will be when everybody who has been there or that was not even at the festival will have something, you know, to talk about.
Yeah, once again, thank you very much. You've got me excited already. I'm hoping some of our viewers who love jazz are also excited about this year's edition. And I know you're very busy already. And
Thank
2
you
weeks
so
to
much.
go for the ticket sales to close. So I'm hoping people will support the
discounted
2023
tickets.
Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Mantwa
having me.
Chinoamadi, just taking us. And I'm already like seeing myself there. I can't wait now for the 29th of September.